Welcome to the channel. If you've been following the Monterey build, have I got some stuff to show you. So that was some dash cam footage of my wife and sister-in-law making a trip to Ballston Spa, New York for a pair of Fenders, and I can tell you a little bit more about that. I've got some footage of the Fenders before we wound up with all this snow out back, and I can honestly say that they're really good condition, and I was surprised we were able to find another pair of Fenders, and the gentleman was really good to deal with down there. We made a deal over the phone, and then my wife and sister-in-law went down to pick them up. Everything I knew about buying parts in the States and bringing them back used to be duty-free, anything over 15 years, and I guess our Canadian government is worried that we may be challenged as being the most taxed country in the world, and now they actually charge us duty on all parts, even 60-year-old parts, and you can tell by the look on my wife's face after she got hauled into customs how impressed she was when I told her there was going to be no duty on the parts. But anyways, so we got those, and those are amazing. They're originally off of a pink Monterey. There was actually some pink ones produced back in the day. And I've got some other stuff to show you that's some pretty cool stuff. I'm going to flip this around so I can explain to you what I got in front of me. Our trip to Kitchener was really educational. We met this great guy, Dave, and we learned actually for the first time that parts that originally came on this car have a C3. The C is for the decade, meaning 60, and then of course 50s would be B, 40s would be A, and then the 3 signifies the 3 for 63. This beautiful manifold Dave had, and he was willing to part with for us, because we also found out that the one that was on our car for the driver's side actually had been changed at some time because, oh no, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. Oh yes, no, I got the right one. This is actually a 64. So maybe the manifold broke at one point and was replaced, but now we actually have the correct matching numbers one date coded for the car. The one on the other side, the passenger one, is actually correct. It's a C3 part as well. One of the ears is broken off. It was broken off originally, as you can see the rust that is on this part. We may look into having it welded if we can't find ourselves another manifold. Dave also had this fantastic crank pulley. Now, it's not the correct one for our car, and this dampener. So we got these two pieces off of Dave as well. Our crank pulley is a little different. It's actually what they call a spoked pulley. But what happened was when I took this apart, somebody installed the washer on the wrong side. This is actually the washer. You could see where it actually broke away the center on the crank pulley. Probably when they installed it, and then as I was also trying to put pressure on it to turn the motor over, it probably finished it. You can see there's almost 2 tiers of cracks on this. So we really do want to find the correct pulley for the motor, but this is what we have right now, and at least the motor will be able to go back together with this new one we have here. Dave was also kind enough to throw in an original coil. We never got to test ours, and he says this one's working. A lot of the aftermarket ones now have big decals on them, or they're multicolored, and course, we're going all original with this car, so that's not going to work. The other thing that Dave had that was absolutely amazing, this timing cover was so heavily corroded on the motor that there actually is the date code in here, but you can barely read it because it's just so, it's aluminum, and it just kind of dissolved over the years of being parked in there. And this is the replacement one that Dave had. This piece is just fabulous. And again, you can see it has the C3 on it, so it's actually the correct date code for the car as well. This is just a great piece we have here. Now we swing around the other way. Here's our rad support. It wasn't bad, except for you can see it was quite corroded through here, and there's a channel down on the bottom. It's pretty gone. By the time we clean a lot of this up, there's not going to be a whole lot of material left. You can see I'm peeling the rust right off, and it's actually kind of rotted out on the bottom. The other side of it actually is even worse. Well, you can see the rest of it there. We got a few more brackets that got to come off in that, but you can see there's a big hole here, and actually the whole channel is completely gone on the bottom. Now, our body guy Freeman said he could fix all this, but don't tell him this. He's 73 years old, and we're trying to take some of the work out of it for him if we can. So it took 2 months to get this part, but we have this AMD rad support. It's an aftermarket one, but you can see it's a perfect piece. Of course, we'll say there's no rot on it. I would hope not anyways. And this will just be hopefully bolt in. I know a lot of guys are having a lot of problems with aftermarket parts. And well, it might take a little trimming, but I'm sure Freeman's going to be able to manage it. And then these two splash pans, they're called. They actually go behind the front of the fender and give it more support. And then there's actually rubber flaps that go on these. Ours were completely rotted out, so we have these now as a replacement. Go over to the car here. Here's our steel, and actually I should let you know that all this steel is going to be bracing the car so that we can lift the body off and not compromise the door fitment, because right now the doors on the car fit absolutely perfectly, so we want to maintain that. The other thing is that, not that you can tell, the engine is hopefully going by next Wednesday. We got another snowfall, so it's just not convenient for this Wednesday, but by next Wednesday, going to the machine shop. The transmission is gone now. It's over at Astro Transmission, and Bill and Tony are going to look after us and get it all fixed up. So here's the next run we have here. So I guess we'll start right here. These are our original badges for the car. They weren't in the greatest of shape, and we weren't sure if they could even be refinished. Like, at least we can't do it, so we didn't know if somebody else could. So these guys here out of Indiana, I gotta tell you, they were so fantastic to deal with. And we got these brand new in the Ford box replacement badges for the front fenders. They're just here, I'll hold them up in the light so you can see. They're just fabulous pieces. I mean, they've never been on a car. All the pins are in behind them, and it was such a great score, we thought, to get these. The mirror out of the car is chrome. And the problem with having it re-chromed, of course, is getting the glass out comfortably without breaking it, and then having to see about getting a new piece of glass made. You can see it's quite pitted and not in the best of shape. The car did come with an extra mirror. This was in the loft, but this isn't a chrome mirror. This is a painted mirror. It's also a different style. This one's intended to bolt up to the top of the windshield, and ours is actually a stick-on the windshield type. And just here's the other piece that actually sticks onto the windshield right here. This one we're going to have to probably send out to get re-chromed because we don't have this piece. It's actually a two-part piece. It comes apart. And while I'm talking about the windshield, I just want to mention too, one incredible thing is after I got this windshield cleaned up, Let's see if you can see. There is writing. If I can find it. Yeah, that doesn't stick out very... Oh, there it is. So if you can see that writing, let me just get that in line with some blue there. Where it says light, actually, I forgot what I was supposed to say. There's actually a 63 there, car light, I'm sorry. And believe it or not, all the glass in this car is completely original to 1963. It just blows our minds that this is the way it is. So when we took the fender apart, we couldn't save the antenna, and Stillwell's had a brand new antenna on hand. Like, it's never been on a car before. It's just a fabulous piece, and it's going to be another great piece of trim in the end that we have on the car. Oh, and I didn't continue with the mirror. So Stillwell's also had, and I better be careful, this most magnificent mirror. It's never been on a car, and it is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, especially when you compare it to what we had to work with. This is going to look fabulous through the windshield when the car is all finished. Stillwell's also had... Here's our door handle. I actually couldn't find the other one right away, but this is the passenger side interior door handle. So that's what you would open to get out of the car. And if you have a look there, you can see, if I flip it around, I think. Well, that's a little hard to see, but there actually is a C3 inside of this as well to signify, there's a tough word for the day, that it is original to the car for the year. We had, from Stillwell's, more amazing pieces. 2 brand new interior door handles, never been on a car. They have the correct date code information inside as well. And just fabulous pieces. I mean, really, these are just fabulous pieces. And let's see, I did forget something really important. So here is the hood ornament from the very front of the center of the hood. This is the one off the car. This is the original. And I gotta tell you, not many things make me super excited. But when I saw the piece that we got from Stillwell's, geez, I'll tell you, this is just such a fabulous piece. It actually came with the brand new nuts in a sealed bag. So when you walk up on the car, I mean, the nose of the car is one of the first things you see, and man, it's so fabulous. It's going to look great when we get around to putting some of these parts back onto the car. The mirror has been plaguing me for a little bit. This is the driver's side view mirror. So I've been trying to figure out where this mirror came from, and then just today, actually, I decided to flip it over and check to see if the date code on it was right. Well, the date code didn't match at all, so I Googled the number, and it turns out this might be like a knockoff mirror from a 60s Cadillac. So somewhere along the way, this mirror had to have been changed or just added to the car, because it 100% does not belong on this car. So now at least my hunt will be a little easier, because I'm not looking for the wrong part anymore. I think that, oh yeah. So in here, I won't open them up because it's not a big deal, but they're called kick guards. Let's see if I can point to the right spot. It would go just there underneath the dash, to the left of your foot on the driver's side, and then on the passenger side to the right of your foot. Both of them were broken in the car. We couldn't get them as the correct color, but we'll be using interior paint to touch everything up to make everything match. I almost forgot a very important detail, so this has been sort of edited in there. The day after we bought this Mercury, we found another dash on Marketplace, and we weren't very sure because the condition of the dash, I'll probably insert it there so you can see it. It's got a lot of chrome pieces on the dash, and of course would have to be re-chromed, which is pretty costly for one thing. And then there's a lot of little intricate pieces within it, and we just weren't sure if it could even be done. And we saw this dash, and the original owner's son actually lives less than a half an hour away from where the dash was up north, and he went and picked it up for us and brought it back to Niagara so that we could have it. And I'll show you that dash as well. Definitely between the two dashes, we're going to be able to put a really nice dash together. And the other thing is that all the animals that were living in this Monterey, the back insert for the glove box is actually made out of cardboard, and of course the animals use that to build nests and everything. So probably also where the ownership for the car wound up. But I mean, there was just literally nothing behind the glove box door. You open the door and you were looking at the floor of the car. So that was also in the dash that we purchased. So that's one more part that we have. It's a long process gathering all this stuff. I tell you, it's not cheap. The parts are very expensive, but if you've got determination, you can manage anything, and that's what we have for this car, is determination. We're determined to get it all done right. So, and on to the biggest one. So there was a part at the back of this car that was making me lose sleep. They call it the tail panel. So the tail panel on this car was in pretty rough condition. Oddly enough, it's still worth a pretty good dollar because they're pretty rare. You can see all the damage there just below where the fuel door goes. We think the bumper may have actually come in and hit it. But this piece is in tough shape, and I was very convinced that we were never going to find this piece for the car. And son of a gun, if these Stillwell guys didn't have a brand new one, never been on a car. It has just the tiniest of scratches and a couple of small dents that we'll have to work out of it. But my goodness, like, I actually sleep at night now that we found this piece. This piece is just magnificent. And I mean, if I pull the old one in and you do a comparison, there is no comparison on what the two of these look like. Like, it just, when you're looking at the finish on a car, it's all about these little details, and this is certainly a big detail for us. So I can't thank you enough for following along. We started this channel just with the intent of keeping the family of the original owner's car in the loop, to watch the progress on the car and see the build. And it's turned into quite a bit more. All the people that have subscribed to the channel, we had no idea that it would become anything more than just us documenting this car. It's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to all the extra comments that people are making and all the insight. Definitely, if somebody out there has an original mirror for a 63 Monterey, or knows which mirror we're looking for, please let me know. The feedback's been awesome. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.